Dear viewers, there is a video from 2011 you need to see. A man sits in front of a camera, pointing his finger at the lens, absolutely furious. He says, and I'm quoting directly here, "Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate, he is weak and he is ineffective." That man was Donald Trump. The president he was talking about, Barack Obama. The war he was warning us about, he just started it himself. Take a second, let that land. The man who spent years screaming from rooftops that a sitting American president would manufacture a war with Iran for politics, for ego, for the cameras, is now the sitting American president who has taken the United States into a full-scale war with Iran. Bombs, ships, strikes, schoolgirls. You genuinely cannot write this stuff. Except apparently you can, because it is 2026 and here we are. Hello, I'm Tejas and you're watching Honest Take on Lokmat Times. This is the story of Donald Trump, Iran, and the most spectacular case of a man becoming the exact villain he invented. But before we dive into it, our usual request. Please subscribe to Lokmat Times if you haven't already and press the bell icon to never miss an update. Let's go back, way back, 2012. Twitter is still called Twitter. Obama is running for re-election and Donald Trump, a private citizen, reality TV host, professional loud opinion haver, is posting on social media with the energy of a man who has cracked the code on everything. He writes that Obama will attack Iran in order to save face. Then again, that Obama will do it to show how tough he is. He says it over and over. Different words, same sermon. This president is going to pick a war with Iran for political reasons and it will be shameful and someone should stop him. Nobody took it that seriously at the time. It was Trump being Trump, throwing darts at a wall, seeing what sticks. But here is the thing about throwing enough darts. Eventually, one of them is going to describe your own presidency with terrifying accuracy. Because fast forward to 2025, Trump is back in the White House for his second term, and by February 2026, the United States, under his command, has joined Israel in launching large-scale airstrikes inside Iran. Missiles, airstrikes, naval operations, an entire war that has a name, Operation Epic Fury. Obama never attacked Iran, Trump did. The prophet was talking about himself the whole time. He just did not know it yet. Now here is where it gets even richer. Trump did not just warn us about war with Iran, he also campaigned twice on being the guy who would stop all the wars. December 2016, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fresh off his first election win, Trump stands at a podium and says the United States will seize the rush to overthrow foreign governments about which we know little. Beautiful line, really is. Someone wrote that for him and he actually read it. Then, ahead of his second inauguration in January 2025, he is back on the same song. America's power should stop all wars. His proudest legacy, he said, would be the wars that we never get into. Let's just sit with that phrase for a moment, the wars that we never get into. Because within a year of saying that, his administration greenlit a joint military campaign with Israel that included strikes on Iranian soil, killing of Iran's supreme leader, the destruction of dozens of Iranian naval vessels, and we will get to this, the bombing of a girls' elementary school. But sure, the wars we never get into, that's the legacy. Look, politicians say things they don't mean. That is as old as politics itself. But there is a specific kind of audacity required to run on an anti-war platform, call yourself the peacemaker, position yourself as the guy who stops the madness, and then kick off a war bigger than anything the so-called warmongers you replaced ever did. Now we get to the part that made jaws drop around the world. In the middle of this war, while Iranian sailors are dying at sea, while the wreckage of 46 Iranian vessels is sinking to the bottom of the ocean, Trump goes in front of cameras and tells a story. He says he asked his military why they sank an Iranian ship instead of capturing it, and they told him it is more fun to sink them. And then Trump, the President of the United States, the commander of the most powerful military on earth, repeats it, smiling, more fun to sink them. Over 100 sailors reportedly died when the unarmed Iranian ship Iris Dana went down near Sri Lanka. Sailors, men who woke up that morning, had breakfast, probably thought about getting home. More fun to sink them. There are moments in politics where words reveal something true about a person. Not a gaffe, not a slip, a window. And this was a window wide open, curtains flying. This is the man who said his greatest legacy would be the wars he never got into. Now he is on camera, grinning, passing along a punchline about the most efficient way to kill people at sea. And then there is Minab, February 28, 2026, the opening wave of US-Israeli strikes on Iran. And in the city of Minab, in southern Iran, missiles hit Shajare-Taibeh Girls Elementary School while classes are still in session. Between 150 and 180 people are killed. Most of them are girls, 7 to 12 years old. Their teachers, some parents who were there that morning. UNESCO calls it a grave violation of humanitarian law. The BBC, Al Jazeera, Reuters, they all cover it. The international community is horrified. And then the US does its investigation. And the preliminary findings come back suggesting that American forces were likely responsible, possibly because of outdated targeting data, old intelligence that incorrectly flagged the area as a part of military installation nearby. An accident perhaps. Terrible, but an accident. Here is what you do when your military accidentally kills 150 school children. You say it with the weight it deserves. You investigate fully. You own it if it's yours. Here is what Trump did instead. He got on Air Force One and told reporters, without evidence before the investigation concluded, in my opinion, based on what I have seen, that was done by Iran. They are very inaccurate with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. Iran bombed their own school. That was his answer. Not, we are looking into this seriously. Not, if American forces were involved, we will be transparent. Just, Iran did it. Case closed. The only side that targets civilians is Iran. While US military investigators were already quietly telling reporters they believed it was probably their own strike. This is the part that should shake people regardless of where they sit politically. Because this isn't spin. This isn't a president putting the best face on bad news. This is a president standing in front of dead children and pointing at someone else while the evidence is already pointing back at him. And the American public, they are watching. Polls from February and March 2026 tell a story Trump probably doesn't enjoy reading. His overall approval is sitting in the low 40s, with disapproval clearing 55 to 60% in multiple surveys. A Reuters Ipsos poll found that only 27% of Americans approve of his actions towards Iran. 43% disapprove. Fox News, his own preferred broadcast home, ran polling showing 57% disapproval of his overall performance. 60% on foreign policy. So here is where we land. In 2011, Trump warned that a weak, ineffective president would start a war with Iran to look tough. In 2016, he promised to stop regime change adventures and foreign entanglements. In 2025, he said his legacy would be the wars he never got into. By February 2026, he had joined Israel in the most direct US military confrontation with Iran in history. He joked about sinking Iranian ships being more fun. His forces likely bombed a girls' school and he blamed Iran for it anyway. His approval ratings fell off a cliff, and somewhere in the digital archive, his 2012 tweets are still up, accusing Obama of planning to start a war with Iran for political reasons. You want to know the scariest part of all this? He wasn't entirely wrong about the playbook. He just did not realize he would be the one following it. With Trump, that's quite normal, and that is your honest take.